Welcome back. I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE. Here at theCUBE's NYSE studio, of course, we have our Palo Alto studio connecting Silicon Valley and Wall Street. This is part of our Mixture of Experts series. We got Brandon Cooper, CEO and co-founder of Aphid, this great AI agent solution, doing some very compelling things, cloning work, making people more productive. Brandon, thanks for coming on theCUBE, appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, glad to be here.
So you're out of LA, Detroit, but you're got the little bit of a Hollywood vibe, Detroit vibe, Motor City vibe, and LA. You got some very interesting things going on with agents, which we've been talking about on theCUBE for 2 years.
Yep.
We've been fantasizing on theCUBE with video that I would have a clone, and there's Hey Gen out there, some other tools. You're starting to see really realistic human clones.
Yep.
But cloning tasks, cloning users is real.
Yes. Yep.
That's what you guys are doing. Explain the company, how many people, the product. Give a quick overview.
Yeah, so background on company was started, I was working at Apple for 7 years as senior technology advisor, overworked, and I said, man, I wish I could just have a clone of myself doing the work on the computer. But instead, when I got replaced, I actually was compensated for the work that it does for that employer. And this was 2018-ish or so it's like way before AI was buzzworthy and everything, but really created it to disrupt the 9-to-5, because most people, the average person is spending 90,000 hours at a job over a lifetime. So we wanted to get that time back. You know, you have a lot of money or a lot of time, but how do we get into that in between? Yeah. So Aphid is allowing humans to get in that in between, and that's why the company was ultimately created. So you're basically ingesting your personality and skill sets into a digital form of yourself that works on the computer autonomously, and when it completes the task, it brings the activity back to the human controlling it.
So I could have someone write my blog post for me, do all the research, do a video, potentially.
Yep.
That's what you're thinking. And then I can go on to higher level either tasks, chill out, do something productive on my own.
Precisely.
Swing back in, check in with my apprentice.
Yes.
So to speak.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
And that gets smarter.
Yeah.
And then it has an apprentice, clone of a clone. Yep. But this is the future of work. Yes. And agents are all about not just discovery, intelligence, but the work piece is the agent that's blowing people's minds.
Yes.
That's a key area.
Yeah, it also, people need the awareness on, you already see it in the news where these big companies are laying people off. And what they don't understand is if consumers aren't healthy, there's going to be no one to buy their products and services. So we could be heading towards what's called universal basic income. Universal high income is where people are basically getting stimulus checks every single month and there's no work. But Aphid is creating a system to safeguard humans, to say, well, let's put in a system in place to say, you can replace us, but replace us with our own personalized AI agents that can work on behalf of the employer. And then now I can monitor those agents and get work.
Yeah. You know, Brandon, that's universal basic income conversation has changed, I would say radically 5 years. 3 years in particular. And you look back past couple of years, it went from an entitlement, let's change, give people an opportunity, that's an investment, to now we're looking at productivity gains that are now demonstrable. Mm-hmm. So if you say, it just changes the scope of what that is. So for example, if the productivity is so high, a lot of people are changing their position on this.
Yes.
Because if we're making more money and we want to incent people to have a good life, whether it's getting back on their feet, which was the view people had before, to, no, live your life and do something good with it, healthy life.
Yes.
So it's not just, like, hey, we want to give people a chance to get on their feet because they're either struggling or don't have it, but you could be great and still get that kind of benefit. So it's shifted it to a opportunity for all.
Yeah.
This is new. What's your reaction to that? Do you agree? Do you see the same thing, or is it me just reading the tea leaves?
I really think that we're designed and programmed by society. We've been shaped into like, okay, I can't just sit idle. I can't just sit still. I need to be able to do something. So I see the world as being a hybrid. let the machines do like customer service at places like Dunkin' Donuts and everything. Those jobs are going to go. People are they're already walking up to the screen and you can order. But you don't have to wait for your coffee. Like, oh, this is taking a while. So those jobs are going to shift. And then now those humans are going to work in different parts, different departments, and shift into managing machinery. So the training is going to go into robotics. You have big companies like Boston Dynamics. They're already creating these robotic systems. Police are going to be using them, everything else. So I think that's where the jobs are going to go. And universal basic income, if you're used to making $15,000 a month, $10,000 a month, but UBI is only $2,000, $3,000 a month, there's going to be it's a big discrepancy in terms of your income and what you're used to. So there might be an outcry for people for that. So they're going to have to pick things up. So I see everything going towards fractional work, a lot of remote work. So Aphid is very, very focused in terms of future of work for remote workers, digital nomads, people who are going to work from home, being able to earn income from their Aphid clones that are operating on the internet.
Yeah. So you bridge that gap.
We're bridging the gap.
That's a key thing.
That's correct.
And that's choice of the human in the loop.
Correct.
They could grind if they wanted. They love to grind and grit, no problem.
Keep grinding.
If that's what motivates you, grind.
Precisely.
All right, so how about the tech? Because I think this is where it gets interesting, because the biggest conversation this past year, and continues to be, is agents can combine and hyper-converge tasks and work.
Yep.
And AI is not like Google search, although it is a discovery mechanism, but it also can get the work done for you.
Yep, correct.
So now you have work product. Yep. How is that evolving in your mind? Where are we in the progress bar of agentic work, seamlessly being done?
I believe we're in the state of people getting really, really excited. There's a new shiny toy every single week. There's something that pops up like every 2 or 3 days. You have OpenClaw, another company. I'm not saying one is a shiny new toy and isn't here to stay, but I think that there's going to be almost like when we had the metaverse and everything was hyped up and everyone's using it. AI is a more serious version of that, where I believe AI is a lot more here to stay. I think NFTs are it's a different conversation of how it's going to actually be used. But there's the hype train, and then I guess the bubble burst, and then it's going to retract. And Aphid in particular wants to make it more of the Steve Jobs Apple simplicity for the average person on a macro level. Right now, it's primarily based for nerds. So a lot of these companies, I mean, my mom or different, love you, Mom, but she's not a technical person. So how do you put that into the hands of someone like that to use it? Yeah, and we're not there yet.
So talk about your Apple background, because I think that's interesting. In these major ways, the web was probably one that I would see is very comparable from a principle standpoint. When the web hit the scene, it was all analog. I'd have to go to the library. Now you got self-service with the web.
Yeah.
But you still got to click on stuff, put it together. But AI has that similar kind of feeling. And so the success at that time was very much make it simple, intuitive, and easy to use.
Yeah. Correct.
What have you brought from Apple with this agentic? What is that? What does that look like?
Taste, design is really, really important. I'm really, really big on innovation and not looking like other products. I believe a lot of the pre-existing solutions, a lot of them look the same. I think they're very intuitive in terms of like ChatGPT and Claude. They're really, really easy to use. It's really Ask Jeeves on steroids, if you remember that.
Yeah,
Ask Jeeves are really, they're really first to market. Yeah, they were really first to market, but AI wasn't integrated into it innately at that time. But that's really what it is, and it's just responding to you. So I think this is a great intro. Big company, but I think you're starting to see Anthropic take over.
I love the Ask Jeeves Web 1.0 reference. That was a good lay down there. It's good. But I think it's instructive because answers are good. Getting answers is complex.
Yeah.
There's easy answers, there's hard answers.
Yep.
And then work is just workflow.
Correct.
So when you get into the prototyping and building the solutions, what are some of the key things that you guys think about in terms of getting right? If you have first principles, what are those first principles? And then how do you map the first principles to technology?
Yeah, it's really it comes down to creating the engine. So we're very focused on the engine. The way that you're going to use a clone is going to be very different from the way that I'm going to use a clone.
Yeah.
Someone may want to use their Aphid clone to do sports betting or automated trading, but a real estate agent is going to use it in a very, very different way. So when we're mapping out that interface, we want it to look brand new. It's very risky, but one thing about me in terms of my creativity is like I need it to feel like it's something that you haven't seen before, even though I'm risking the educational barrier as a company. But once people learn,
That's very Jobs-like, because Steve Jobs had the DNA of, people don't yet know what they want until they see it.
until they see it.
And that only works in markets where it's possible.
Yep.
I mean, I was telling someone on theCUBE here a couple weeks ago when the SaaS apocalypse was happening. I actually interviewed the founder of Nest, Matt. He and Tony Fidel started Nest. He's got this new venture. He said, he made a comment. He goes, "Well, the SaaS thing is a joke because all bad products will die." And he gave an example. He actually said he was at Apple at the time when iPod was the #1 selling product for Apple.
Yep.
The iPod pre-iPhone.
Yep.
And Steve said, "No, we're going to make the iPhone." Had an iPod in it.
Yep.
It had a phone.
Yep.
It was a computer.
Yep.
It had an app store.
Yep.
That's not a phone.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, it's not an iPod either. So they basically cannibalized their own product
They did.
to build a better phone. But it wasn't a phone. It was a phone, iPod, a computer, an app store.
Yep.
And Nokia had a chance to do it. RIM, which is BlackBerry, had a chance to do it.
Yep.
That to me is where we are with AI, is that what you think is the product, the BlackBerry, the Nokia, the most popular phones at that time,
Yep.
iPod, a music device. Oh, great, I can listen to music. Who doesn't like music?
Yep.
But I ain't making phone calls on that.
Correct.
So
Needed the pinwheel.
the balls to do that,
Yep.
the gut, the grit,
Yep.
that's what you're kind of getting at. That's the AI moment we're in.
That's
that product, it makes sense, but it's like, oh, we can never do it. No keyboard? What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're insane.
So they had to imagine that product. There was no market research that said build a screen with no phone.
Yeah, we
A phone with no keyboard.
no keyboard. Yeah.
So to your point, the bets are there. No, that was a good bet. That bet came home. So what is your bet? What's your bet? What's your big bet? What's that iPhone-like bet that you're making?
I won't give the competitors the playbook on how we're going to beat them in the Super Bowl, but I think organically, it's in a nutshell, we're going to make it to where it works on a macro level. That's simplistic enough for your grandma to be able to use it and understand it, make her to want to understand it. I think you have to, society is not hitting them just yet until you actually lose your job. Then you're like, okay, I need to learn about this Aphid thing. Because until it affects you, people really don't care.
Yeah.
So that's what
you need the software. I mean, if you deconstruct, not to go back on my Apple history, of course you worked there, but they had iLife at the time.
I remember that.
You had my friend Jean-Marie, rest in peace. He was the architect for that product. But you also had the Mac OS was hardened. You had other software. They did the work under the covers. So what's the secret sauce in the engine? Or, I don't want to give away this farm yet.
Well,
high level.
you know what though?
Secret sauce.
But really, it's I see it in a world where we're very focused on the human aspect and the work-life balance. I think productivity tools, I think they're all great. I think everyone's copying each other. There are like a million copycats every single week. They even have copycat tool software where you can just spin it up and completely copy someone's website and idea in a matter of seconds to minutes to hours. But the secret sauce is the human aspect, the community, understanding and seeing how much time are you actually spending at work. Like that 90,000 hours that you're spending at a job, if you went into a job and you saw 90,000 hours counting downward, you would want to slit your wrist because you're like, I can't be here for this long because it's out of sight, out of mind. So we're bringing that data to the forefront so you can see your life metrics ultimately to see where's my time actually going so I can make my son and daughter a soccer game or a ballet recital. Yeah,
it's got some collateral consequences for sure. Talk about the momentum you have now and the product. I was asking you before we came on camera, obviously we do video, I do a ton of it. I'd love my own clone to read news reports that looks like me, maybe a little bit thinner, younger, Botox, a little bit of better looking, younger John. But I mean, kidding aside, that's possible.
Yes.
With video. Are you working on that too?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So right now it's completely dialogue based. That was what we call a beachhead strategy, ICP. Everyone understands how to chat, how to talk to someone through text message. So you imagine if you're sending a link of your clone to someone, they can talk to the digital version of yourself through a chat conversation. Right now, you have a very unique URL. The same way you would share your LinkedIn, you share your clone to someone, and they don't have to have the mobile app to talk to your clone. So that's what it does now. And then we're about to launch the web application that has voice and video. You'll be able to set parameters based on your personality, plugins, etc.
We've all been there in conversations, especially small talk. Hey, John, what's up? Okay. Clone, get in there. Same question. Hey, what's new? How's New York going? Hey, clone.
Yeah. It's going good. Weather's nice today.
How are you? I mean, conversational rapport, you can almost tier it down to levels of, I won't say IQ, but levels of sophistication. And it's got enough body of work, corpus, you can do that. How do you guys get into the task side? Because I think that gets interesting because some non-deterministic stuff comes in. Because right now, the big conversation is deterministic versus non-deterministic agents. Humans think non-deterministically. So I want my clone to be just as non-deterministic, but yet not hallucinate.
So within our platform, you can use the third-party models if you want. We have our own. We're vertically integrated, called Unveiling. Actually runs on IPFS. It's a decentralized system, a little slower in speed, but you actually house and keep your own data with you. So it's innate to your own system, and you carry it with you. It's not on a central server. But
so it's blockchain, so it's immutable. I own it.
So with the IPFS, it isn't blockchain based, but there are nodes. It's very similar to blockchain system where people have systems at home and they're processing the blockchain transactions on their devices. IPFS runs just like that, but it's more comparable to a Napster or a BitTorrent, where you can't see the data, but I can help house your data encrypted in the network where you can access it, or if you only want it on your device, you can store.
So decentralized storage.
Decentralized storage.
Peer-to-peer.
Peer-to-peer for your clones. And then the hallucination piece, so we have a mode where you're monitoring it in the system. So you're actually training it based on things that arise, and then that percentage is going to ultimately increase as time goes by to get more accurate. So it might start at 30, 40%, 50, 60. The more time you spend nurturing it, especially for the repetitive things, you'll get to about an 80, 90% threshold.
I mean, it's almost good now. If you look at your chat history, you go to say OpenAI, say based on my chat history, it knows what it sees. I guess my final question for you is, it's a double-edged sword. It certainly accelerates thoughts and ideas and productivity when it knows what it sees, but there's also human instinct. It's hard to train instincts, behavior. How do you think about that piece of it? Because there's a whole model side of it that could be a blind spot in these frontier models.
I really see it as if you were to think of like hitting a record button, the more and more you're using your instincts into it, it's going to ultimately start to know the tendencies. But if you're using a machine learning model on those instincts, and it might not be exactly where you want it to be, but at least you're saving time based on those trained instincts.
So I imagine, obviously, I got my iPhone here, obviously here. If I say, hey, Siri, it wakes up, so it's obviously listening.
Yes.
It's hearing everything.
Everything.
I interviewed a guy who built an app on the iPhone that says, based upon how you are talking on the phone, can detect if you're having a stroke. Okay, great app, great value. The question is that do you see a world where clones talk to each other, where my doctor can clone himself and send them to me?
Yes.
To be resident
100%.
in my app?
100%. We're actually playing around with some technology for that right now with a company in Los Angeles working with some software by the name of Copious.
I mean, that's great added value.
Yes.
It's like, forget the doctor's office. I just want to know, do I have the flu?
That's it. That's it. And guess what? In Aphid system, the actual human doctor is watching everything. So if something is wrong, can go in.
So he's got a control tower.
That's right.
Is that what you guys call a control tower? What's the?
We call it the control panel.
Control
for
panel.
the web application is the control panel.
Yeah, some people call it control tower, but basically that's a data hub.
Yes.
For real-time intelligence on the clone.
Correct, and then you also have a mobile application, so you can see, if you're a pro member, you can jump in with live chat as well. Yep.
All right, so what's next? I mean, obviously, if I wasn't having a great career at theCUBE, doing fun interviews with folks like you, I'd probably want to come work for you. You must be getting a lot of people wanting to work at your organization. What are you focused on now? You guys hiring? What's the funding status? Give a quick plug for the opportunity.
Yeah, we're currently raising for seed right now. We have a nice community, about 20 celebrities that are signed up, creating their clones. We have some upcoming partnerships that we're about to unveil to the world. So we're really,
You're really
excited.
tight as a drum. I can't get anything out of you.
But it
sounds like a fun environment. What's the culture like?
Culture is great. Los Angeles is great. That's where our team was birthed, in Silicon Beach, and we're expanding our sales and marketing office into Detroit. Detroit is really, really hot in tech right now as well, so we're bridging between those two cities.
Nice, cool.
But we are hiring for machine learning engineers, data scientists as well to come on the team. So yeah.
Brandon, great to meet you. Thanks for coming on theCUBE.
Thank you.
I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE. We got great action. Again, the sea change of society is happening. AI infrastructure continues to build out. With that enablement comes new AI native opportunities, and that's going to impact how we live, work, and play, and the benefits are more productivity. If you can have a clone out there and have the benefit of it, feed the AI, have your own clone, integrate with others. This is the future of agents. We're doing our part to bring to you. I am not a clone right now. Maybe soon we'll have one with Aphid, but we'll see. Thanks for watching.